all you really have to do when it comes down to the bare basics of increasing your Shopify conversion rate is simply to Hey, what's going on everyone? Hayden here, come back at you with a brand new video. And in this one, we're going to be talking about your Shopify conversion rate, specifically something that I have a very strong feeling nobody's probably told you before. And actually, if you want to do this, at least the way that people come to me and ask how to do this, it actually breaks the number one golden rule of any sort of marketing or advertising online. So if you want to increase your conversion rate right now, for most of you, you're going to be going against what you should be doing. So let me explain. Before we get into this, I want you guys to go ahead and drop a like down below if you want to see some sort of series where I go through and show you guys either doing something with a student or one of my own stores, something maybe with Facebook or building a store. I want to do kind of a multi-part thing. Maybe I'll live stream it here on YouTube where I go through and kind of show something in depth, like in kind of where we pick up once we get on the camera, like once we're live on YouTube, and then we leave off, and then we pick up where we left off. So it's like only while we're on the live streams we kind of build something. I just thought that'd be a pretty cool idea. So again, drop a like down below if you think that that's something you'd want to see here on the channel relating to e-commerce. But anyways, back on topic here, okay? How do you increase your Shopify conversion rate? So for those of you who don't even know what this is, let's say you get 100,000 people to come to your website. That's a lot of people. And you have a 1% conversion rate. Conversion meaning these people buy. Now you have 1,000 people who just bought your product, okay? A 1% conversion rate. So what's the difference? A lot of people are like, how do I scale my store? How do I make more money? Well, in theory, you don't even necessarily need to spend more money on ads to make 200,000 people come to your store, even though that would, in theory, double it to 2,000 people buying. What you should do is before you spend more money on ads, there's a couple of things on the back end. It's actually, and this is where it's going to get a little weird and confusing, that's not even what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about a concept, something that really screws most people over about breaking this number one rule. So the whole thing about conversion, though, is before you raise the top line, you can raise your profit by simply doing things with your store to increase conversion. Now, the way that people approach me about this topic, they say, hey, what is a good conversion rate? I'm starting my store, but it's at like a 0.63, I'm barely profitable. How do I get my conversion rate up? And this might be even a short video, but here's where it really, really screws you up and it breaks this number one rule. If you want to overall, just in a very simple form, increase your conversion rate on your Shopify store, all you have to do is stop doing what you should be doing, which is testing, okay? And let me explain this. A lot of people won't get what I mean. If you're running a whole bunch of ads, no matter what platform it's on, it literally does not matter. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, Pinterest, whatever. You're running a bunch of ads. Let's just say you're running a lot of Facebook ads. You're testing different things. Maybe different ad creative, maybe multiple different products in your store. Maybe you're testing different audiences just for one product. And maybe you're even making a profit and you have a decent conversion rate. Your conversion rate is not really a metric that you should be looking at in the beginning when you're still so deep into the testing phase. Now, why is this? Think about it logically. If I am, pulling traffic from here and it's making me money, right? I have my base and I'm not editing this. But then on top of this, I'm testing 5 other things, still in the process of seeing if it works. Naturally, a lot of that stuff, probably a large majority of it, is not gonna work. So that's affecting your conversion rate. It's really as simple as that. So the point of this video, I really want to stress for people getting into the e-commerce space. I'll tell you guys what kind of some good numbers are and how to do something here in a second. But when you're first getting started, when you're very first starting with your store, you should not even be looking at the conversion rate, okay? What you should be focusing on is looking at the direct purchases that are coming in. Yes, you want to make sure that the forms of advertising and the marketing that you're using are starting to bring in some sort of momentum. Yes, you definitely have to do that. But looking at the conversion rate, especially as like, oh my gosh, my store's not working, the product must be dead. That's not the right number to be looking at. And I want to make that very clear because I see a lot of people getting all like finicky and like, anxious because of that number. And I really, really want to make sure that you're not, because that will kind of mess you up, okay? So now as for the conversion rate, now I want to talk about it because I know people who drop a dislike, I didn't talk about this. Anyways, by the way, drop a like. The things that you're going to want to do to increase your conversion rate are going to be focused around after you've already optimized your ads. So this is outside of your ads. I'll talk about a few things right now that you can try, okay? There's some very simple things and some very simple rules that you have to follow. When you're trying to change something, whether it's your ad, right, the video or picture, maybe the ad copy, the product photos, the description on your page, maybe add an app or remove an app, you have to let it sit for like a week or so while you're actively running ads and getting people to the store before you can see a fluctuation. Because naturally, your store is going to fluctuate. It is. So your sales are going to be going up and down. You know, maybe it's by about 20% every day. Usually I don't see more than like 30% fluctuation. But if you change one thing and one day it goes up and you're like, oh, it works because of this, but maybe the ads just performed well that day. Well, that's not exactly, you know, because of that one change. So you have to let it happen for a long time and see the averages. So things that you can do to try and increase your conversion rate on your store, okay? Having a better overall theme. A lot of people have issues where maybe they built the whole website on mobile and they didn't even, or excuse me, on desktop, and they didn't even look at mobile. Actually a very, very large majority of traffic nowadays when buying from social media ads such as Facebook, Instagram, you know, Twitter, Pinterest, all these things, Snapchat, is off of mobile. So if you're running some sort of ad where a lot of your audience is coming off mobile, please make sure that you not only have the right layout, but have your store laid out properly. Like when I'm on desktop, my store's on desktop 100% of the time. Any store that I build or have my team build always has the description to the side of it, not below the product. And to people, it almost looks like there is no description if it's not to the side. So there's nothing for them to read about. So if the pictures are blurry, which I still see people have, and you know, maybe the pricing looks weird or the title's bad, people are just going to bounce. They're just going to leave. They're going to exit out of it. Maybe they might go look at another product for a moment, but the odds of them clicking out of your website are extremely high. So I recommend having a very good, simple product description on the store. I can make a video talking about how to structure that. It's really quite simple. Go look at anything. People ask me how to write descriptions. Well, the way that I learned, I went and looked at like 20 of the biggest e-commerce stores, which keep in mind, the 20 biggest ones, they're all public. They're on lists of which ones are the biggest. You can go look at Amazon and how they structure their descriptions. Get something like that. Bullet points tend to work well. You're summarizing it. It's easy on the eyes for people to read. So that's one great way that you can increase your conversions. Now, you can try different types of apps. Countdown timers, okay? This can be used both for scarcity and urgency, right? So this is something like Hurify, where it'd be a countdown timer. A lot of people don't like this, but if you have a one product store where you're going for a conversion right away, this can help people get pushed over the edge, right? So if they're on the fence, like, should I buy, should I not? Saying that there's only, 16 minutes left, it might push them enough so that they end up making that purchase, okay? So that's a huge thing right there up front. Now, on the end of the ads relating to the store, I want you guys, if you're targeting worldwide, specifically on Facebook, to try and narrow it for whatever country is a top English country that's getting you the most sales, okay? This would mean one of the big five, which would mean either the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand. So if one of these countries is something you're targeting that is actively getting sales, I recommend that you try to start isolating these by themselves. Because what happens a lot of the time, you might get sales from Brazil or from some of these other countries that might be like tier 2 countries when it comes to their online traffic. So you might get a lot of people there, but even if people are purchasing and you're making money, you're probably getting a lot of people there who are not gonna buy. So when you're targeting worldwide, that's typically something that happens. So you wanna look at where your actual demographics are coming from on your ads, because that's definitely something that hugely affects it. Keep in mind, your conversion rate is everything as a whole. Right, it's his entire picture. So any single person who goes to your site, if you send that link to your friend, it's part of your conversion rate. So every little thing takes into account with that. So that's something that's huge. Now, a couple other things with the conversion is going to be the actual product page itself, and not just by the pictures, but do you have a video? If you can get a video for your product, I strongly recommend integrating that into your product page. This could mean custom coding it in, adding it into your product description, but if you have some sort of very good demonstration of how the product is used and how it would apply into their life, I'm pretty confident you will see a positive reaction in that, ideally in your conversion rate, okay? There's probably a list of 20 to 30 things you could do overall to increase your conversion rate. And it's all going to be a little bit different and it's going to fluctuate based on what you're doing. But I want you to focus in the beginning on not worrying about that rate. You have to test first. And what does that testing mean? That means making sure A, your product is working, B, you have a good ad for it, and C, and you have to make sure these two are in place before you can actually know this one, that you have found the right audiences. So there's kind of those variables you're gonna have to go back and forth on first before you can actually take a look at the conversion and focus on directly increasing that. I have stores that get 1% conversion and they're very profitable stores. I just can't seem to increase the conversion very much. It's just part of the niche and part of the audience that we're targeting. So be it. I also have stores where on average the whole store is like a 9.5 to a 10% conversion rate. It just depends. So that's something that's huge. It also depends on if you're building a brand versus a store. There's a massive difference between those two, not only in the conversion rate, but also in the returning customer rate. So there's all these different analytics we can look at. I would love to go through some stuff more in depth, maybe on a live stream here on YouTube. So if we get a lot of likes on this, I'll know that I should do some YouTube live streams, maybe breaking some of this down, answering some questions, or even bringing someone on to kind of do something for them live one-on-one while everybody watches and asks questions. So if that's something you'd like to see, again, don't forget to drop a like below. And if you're new to this channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you went ahead and subscribed to our family here on YouTube. We're growing strong. I appreciate each and every one of you who not only tune in daily on the videos, but also show love by making sure you're subscribed, you drop the like, and also comment on the videos. You might not notice this, but I very frequently reply to people who comment. So not only do I actually recognize a lot of you guys very typically when you comment all the time on my YouTube and then you DM me on Instagram, like I remember the names because I see it so much, but I also reply to a bunch of comments here on YouTube. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to try your luck by dropping a comment down below. I apologize if it's a couple days after the video is posted, I might not see it, but go ahead and always feel free to comment, and I'd be more than happy to either maybe make a video on the topic you're maybe inquiring for a question, or just give you a response right there. So again, you guys, I appreciate you tuning in the channel. If you stuck this far in the video, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got the value that you were looking for. Again, don't really worry about that conversion rate if you're just getting started. That's one of those numbers and more so a metric that people, they tend to really get held back on. Don't look at that. I hope it makes logical sense. If not, drop a question down below. I'd love to clear it up for you. But think about it logically, okay? Think about it. If you have a bunch of people come to your store because you're running a bunch of tests with your marketing, naturally your conversion is going to be lower because a bunch of that stuff's not working. So once you cut it out and you're just letting your already working ads run, yes, the conversion is going to go up. So focus on getting sales coming in first and finding those audience or marketing platforms that are working better for you first. Then you can worry about the conversion. All right. I hope that helped, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace.